Hello. Anna Malus-Kitzman here in the Good Company podcast, weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, thought provocation, all with the goal and intention for you and me and you, to have the most beautiful, the most aligned, the most fulfilling, the most juicy life. Today, I want to share something pretty personal. Surprise, like it's a big change. But something that I was working for last several years, and I feel like I finally wrapped it up on a good level, processed it. And this is how I work. I go through things and, it's not like I don't want to share it right away. I'm hiding something. I need to process it. I need to understand it. I need to analyze it, and then I can share with you, bring to you, share any findings, any tips, any tricks, anything that helped me, anything that expanded me, anything that healed me, because I always try to do that here. Okay, so today is all about external validation. So external validation is a tricky thing especially in our current times, in our current society. Overall, I think it's very convoluted subject because we live in society and we are group animals and we are community. We love community. This is our mental health. This is our physical health when we are in the community, when we feel this belonging. So automatically there is this connection, outside group and people to kind of not validate, but, we depend on our existence, right? It depends on our we depend on existence of the group around us, right? So we need this acceptance. I think and obviously in a context of social media these days, right? Like it's constant we're constantly not looking for validation per se, I hope, but we are on this arena and are subjected to some kind of response to other constantly in gigantic groups, right? Through likes, through subscribes, through following, etc. So I think that's like a base level, right? Rather way it sets us up for a sticky situation. And for me personally, I think the problem, the validation from outside was a problem because I operated with it in a very unhealthy level. So it really was all about, it almost was, I wasn't existing until, I had and was accepted by this amazing, smart, beautiful friends I was surrounded with. And I'm always grateful to attract. When I had this fat, beautiful check and fat, beautiful title in advertising, I was a director, right? I was a friend with this and this. And it wasn't conscious that I was like seeking it, but it was validating me. I was something because of that. And before pandemic, even when I started, thinking, okay, I think it's time to leave the advertising and marketing. It's not aligning with my values. I don't feel fulfilled there. I need to start doing something else. So that part started disappearing. Then in pandemic, also with leaving the corporate world, a lot of my corporate friends disappeared because we don't spend time together every day during work and after work, going on happy hours, and life was all busy and some friendships fade out. And then pandemic that furthered this solitude and removed this external validation of amazing people I know and hang out with, right? All the time. Then, when I decided really I want to leave the corporate world, a fat check disappeared. So this for a hot minute. So this validation of money also was taken away. Then I had some health issues, and that also was, took away from value of me, and it started questioning and made a room for me to question. Without all these things, like, how am I valuable? Like, what is the value of me? What value I bring? And then, when I started driving Lyft, that death of that ego, and even people coming into my car and just in my face diminishing my value, that was yet another level. Like in this situation, how I keep my self-worth and value up and healthy, and understand that without all these things, even in the face of rude, diminishing behaviors, I am still a valuable person. I have a value. And it was really interesting for me because I never had a problem with anybody else when it comes to that. right? I see, and I feel like I always treated everybody very fairly, very evenly, because I see a value, and I always felt the value of human life just because we are alive, right? Just because we are here and we don't have to do anything, we don't have to perform, we don't have to earn. We are valuable as we are. But I think obviously when I started digging into it, the problem became for me very early, because when you grow up in a household with emotional available narcissistic parent, you constantly have to earn your value, your love, right? Love for you, your attention. It's constantly something like you feel not valuable, right? Like you are not enough, because they are constantly thinking about themselves. They're constantly somewhere else. They're constantly emotionally unavailable. And as a kid, you code it as like, I have to do constantly something. I have to be something. I have to bring something to the table to gain love, to gain attention, to gain connection, any kind of connection, right? So I think that unraveling this part was very healing to me, and understanding, okay, this is where it's all started. This is my pattern that I learned very early. This is not healthy. We need to clean that up. I need to clean that up. And I did clean that up through therapy, through breath work, through conscious noticing certain patterns and certain way of thinking in me, right? Like even during the day, like, oh my God, I have to do this to make this day productive, to make myself valuable. No, like sometimes now I allow myself and I push myself, because I still have it. Now I really truly love what I do, but I still have to work on these days that I'm like, I'm just going to do bare minimal today, and I'm going to be okay with it, and I'm going to feel valuable, and I'm going to feel worth it, and I'm going to feel good about it just because I am. So that was one part. And then the interesting moment was about actually this podcast and social media overall, because I never chase and really look at the numbers when it comes to like anybody likes. Like I look at the numbers for podcasts because it's my dream, and I love doing it, and I want this to become something that allows me to support my family and myself. So it's just like from the business standpoint. But interesting thing came out, and I had to work with it and kind of dissect it even more. Surprise, surprise, because I was like, okay, I'm not really caring about numbers, but there's something that makes me feel mm, uh, sad and just icky about, for example, like what I do on social media, and response I receive, right? Or don't receive, actually. And I was thinking, okay, the social media is, again, we are talking not chasing likes. And I think that's really important, that numbers are not the most important. But in the era we are in, social media and your liking, commenting on something and subscribing, it's a way of language. It's a language that we communicate our acceptance, our support, right? Our love sometimes, right? Our positive emotions towards somebody. It is what it is. Again, it's not about quantity of these numbers, but the quality. And it is the language we are speaking in these days, right? Like, I press like, I support you. I am with you. I like what you do. I like what you said, right? It's the way we communicate. It's this additional language that is available to us now. And it was really interesting for me to dissect it and understand it, that, okay, I was like, I know I'm not chasing external validation, because I'm doing this from my heart, from my soul. So what is it bothering me about all this thing? And what I discovered is that I was really sad, like on human level sad, that I finally do things that are coming from my heart, that are coming from my soul, that I'm really passionate about. And the closest circle to me, I consider the closest circle, or people who I thought are supportive towards me, did not support me that way. And I was talking endlessly with Adam about it. And I was like, I know it's not about this external validation. It's about this just human level of support I didn't feel from the closest people to me, and I had like endless situation that somebody told me to my face, like, I don't listen to your podcast. Or, I was at the event and this woman was there and she was like, make sure to like look at Anna's Instagram. She has such interesting thoughts. And I was like, but you never liked anything what I did on social media. And then you say it to people. Or, the only place I promote my podcast is really on Instagram. And then I have a good listeners numbers now. And I was like, where are these people coming from? Nobody likes when I share it, snippets on Instagram and support me that way. But then they go and listen. And I don't know, maybe it's people I don't know, which is also interesting because I have some listeners from UK, from Japan, from Australia. So probably those are people that I don't know. But it was just really painful because this is the circle. We're coming back circle to this idea of being a part of community, being accepted for who you are, being heard, being listened. And I actually am really grateful that I am not receiving this support on some level of like my closest family, for example, because it was just exposure therapy. And I was asking myself this question. So are you doing it for others, like to support it? Or are you doing it because you believe in it, because it's your passion, because it's something that comes from your heart and soul? And I had to answer it to myself. Yeah, I'm, this is not important. And this exposure therapy helped me heal it, that on the other side of this rejection, because it felt like rejection, right? This not lack of acceptance, I am still okay and I still want to do it and I am going to be doing it, right? Like I don't need acceptance of this closest circle. I get it from outside, from strangers. And that's okay, because maybe my closest circle don't like me this way. Maybe they don't agree with the way I want to present myself and the things I'm talking about. Maybe I'm not intellectual enough. Maybe the quality is not good enough yet. I'm working on it, always working on myself. Maybe I said like too much, or, or right. Lately, I noticed that right is my favorite word. Whatever it is, they have a right to it. And I also have to accept that. That doesn't change the fact that on the human level, it was a sad and painful moment for me. And really something I have to reconcile. I ask Adam, am I embarrassing? Am I, are my teeth so crooked it's hard to look at me? Or am I not so stupid, not intellectual enough? Because I was thinking, okay, if they don't support me, maybe that's the problem. I would imagine that somebody came to me and said, hey, this is a little bit embarrassing what you're doing. But nobody did. And I asked a couple of friends and I was like, hey, like, what do you think about my podcast? And I just heard like, well, I don't have time to listen to it. So that also showed you who is your friend or not and how they treat you. Anyway, that was like a little private rant. But you see this difference between external validation and outside things, people, their reaction to validate what you do, versus this healthier way of, okay, not receiving this validation, but just wanting acceptance and connection, right? Just wanting being a part of the group, and within a group being accepted for who you are, what you're doing, your choices, your values, and what you bring to the table now. And it was really also interesting to me that sometimes I share something about my family and this gets like amazing reaction and acceptance from others, but when I am me and doing something that I truly enjoy, and again, like it's my heart pouring out, it doesn't get that response. It's like I'm allowed to be this, but I'm not allowed to be that, which I also had to reconcile for myself. And it's a great exposure therapy for me to heal it and to understand, why am I doing this, right? Like now that I don't have it, I truly understand that I'm not doing it for external validation, because I'm still doing it despite what feels like rejection and lack of connection and lack of acceptance. So all this rant is about us asking ourselves, and you asking yourself, where in life, which areas, which groups, what you do, how you do it, where you seek external validation or use external validation to validate yourself. And going deeper into it and understanding that you don't need that. You are, what I like to say, you are a genius, amazing, nature, organic machine. And you are loved by universe, by God, by many people around you, despite if they show their acceptance or not. You're cared for, and you don't need that validation. We don't need that validation. Again, I completely understand, because I fell into it on the very beginning. The living in the social media world, right? Living in the community. We are seeking this validation, but it needs to be on the healthy level of like connection, acceptance versus I don't almost exist if I don't have this. These people around you or these people around me don't accept me and show me support and love, right? So, question for today and a little homework. Where are you looking for external validation? How you use external validation to feel better, to feel like you are valued, to feel like you matter, to feel like you are important enough or you are just simply enough. Great journal prompts or voice notes prompts. I love voice noting and talking through to myself about things. Sometimes just the act of spilling it out there, letting it out, picking it out. Also love to re-listen these voice notes later to understand the way I thought and gain the perspective, right? Like I was saying that now I am watching saying that. And how does it feel? And what do I think? It's a great, great exercise. Cannot recommend it enough. So maybe that's a great way to tackle and ramble with where do you need, seek, and look for external validation? Or maybe you don't. Maybe you are so ahead and I'm so happy for you. Okay, it's Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. at Tiny Space to Breathe on Pulaski in Avondale. I'll do breath work. 35 to 40 minutes, deep breathing, amazing modality to heal, to grow, to expand, to release trauma, to release stress, to release anxiety, to expand your brain, to create new neural connection, to boost creativity, to boost communication. I'm amazed. Each session, it's like something else comes up for a client. Something is just keep me all with this modality and how amazing it is. Again, this is this process of us working with our body. I don't do really nothing there except obviously showing you and leading you through the session and making sure you're safe, but you work with your body, with your breath, and that's how the magic happens. You are a genius. Organic natural machine. And obviously, as usual, plant trees with me through onetreeplanted.org. You can plant a tree all over the world. One tree, $1. Again, trees are genius. Other genius machines. I shared it before I read this amazing book, Hidden Life of Trees, and it was just like mind-blowing, like how they through chemicals they communicate. Like we knew that they communicate through roots, but also through like air and chemicals in air. Mind-blowing. So plant trees with me, onetreeplanted.org. Until the next time, love and light, a little bit of shadow, and not chasing external validation.